Hi, and good afternoon, everybody. Mitch Kieran alongside Justin Levy, our broadcast producer, bringing you baseball for the first time since Tuesday this week. And the Sabre Dogs on a 25-game winning streak. So good, we got to play ourselves now. As today's competition with a 2 p.m. first pitch start time from Corbett Field will be between the Souris Valley Sabre Dogs and the Souris Valley Sabre Dogs. And it will be obviously split right down the middle between red jerseys and blue uniforms. So pick a side, whichever player might be on that one you'd want to cheer for. As you can see out in the field right now, Thomas Gutierrez is going to be the starting pitcher for the blue Sabre Dogs, that is. He'll be batting against Luis Pelayo, the leadoff batter for Team Red. He'll be in left fields. Batting second to catcher, Mr. Ben Wilmus. Batting third at first base, we got Ben Newbert. Jake Barlow will be batting fourth for Team Red at second base. Bradley Harmon batting fifth at shortstop, and Eduardo Martinez in center field batting sixth. Now, if anybody else on the team would be hitting after that, might be a pitcher or might just be a guy trying to get some at-bats. Again, this is an inner squad, so the winning streak is not in contention. This game will not count towards stats, but we will feed you some stats as well. Got a beautiful afternoon for baseball. I believe we got some parents, maybe some Sabre Dog faithful in attendance tonight. Just a pretty interactive game. We might see some friendly jeering, some friendly comments back and forth between his teammates, but we'll see. It's sunny and 77, and I believe that's Miguel Reyes Jr. heading out to left fields. As Gutierrez will be pitching to Seth Delgado for the Sabre Dogs in the powder blue out in the fields. And Pelayo set to lead off. Gutierrez shakes off a pitch. And that one's called a strike on the outer half by our very own ballpark ops intern Ty Barrett. No scoreboard, but again, purpose of this broadcast is to maybe give the fans at home, as that one's called strike two, or maybe some other people wanting to watch these Sabre Dogs in action. Well, here's a chance. Might not be the most intense battle, but we still have one heck of a ball club this year, 29-1. And not sure if Ty just rung up Luis, but that was a slider from Gutierrez that ran off the plates. Goody's back in the windup. Pelayo leading this one off here as he ropes this one to the gap in left center. And this one's going to be kicked up by Reyes Jr. and out in center field. Another guy goes slipping. So how about Pelayo with the leadoff single off Gutierrez? I believe that was Reyes Jr. hitting the turf, and Hunter Delanoy also sliding out there in the gap. It's already some fun stuff, but so far this summer has been one heck of a one for Thomas Gutierrez, who's overtaken mostly every pitching category. He's got 34 innings pitched for the Dogs on this summer, a 5-0 record, and a perfect earned run average of 3 goose eggs. 42 strikeouts, that's the team high in those 34 innings pitched. He's only walked 6 batters, and he has not hit any. Stepping into bat now is Mr. Ben Wilmus out of Johnston, Iowa, an Iowa Hawkeye right here. So another one of those D1 players that we have on our team, as that one misses low, so Wilmus going to work with 2 balls, no strikes in the counts. Might be having some fun here in the commentary booth. Coach Kieran might make his way up. We'll hear his comments and just how the season has gone up to this point. Third pitch of the at-bat. There's a curveball in there called strike one. So Gutierrez trying to settle back down to the leadoff single from Luis Pelayo. And we're happy to have Coach K in the broadcasting booth. Maybe momentarily we'll hear some of his thoughts on the year, as Wilmus will take a pitch above the letters. So 3 balls to 1 strike to Mr. Ben Wilmus. So indeed now we're going to be talking things over with Michael Kieran up here in the broadcasting booth. Coach, I want to thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's cool to be up here to see the ballpark from this view.
There really ain't no better view out here in the Expedition League than, I believe, right here in the broadcasting booth. Brought to you by First Western Bank and Trust here at Corbett Fields, as Wilmus will take ball 4 high. Now, Coach, first things first, haven't really got a chance to talk to you yet about the guy standing on first base, Mr. Ben Wilmus. Only got here on Tuesday, and he already made an immediate impact going 2 for 4 and playing a great game at catcher. What do you got to say about him?
He's a really good ball player. Comes from a really good program. You know, Johnson's a really good program, high school wise in Iowa. Iowa, really good program.
All right, so we got a fielder's choice as Wilmus is out at second, and Newber will take second, and Pelayo will indeed come home to score. We got ourselves an early 1-0 lead for Team Red. Got a preference on red or blue today, or just who do you got between the Sabre Dogs and Sabre Dogs?
I think one of them's gonna win. I mean, I think just cool to be out here.
Yeah, no, this is really just a cool experience. Just finally getting to have these guys back on the field after Tuesday. It's been a really interesting week here in the Expedition League as we're down to just only 3 teams now, but with the way the schedule's playing out, this gave us an opportunity just to still again see the field on a great day, and for some of these guys to actually, play for the pitchers against some of the most powerful bats in the league, and for the hitters, finally getting a chance to see some really top-tier pitching that has really stood out in the league on both ends of the field.
Yeah, I mean, and you know how it is in the locker room. Everyone's kind of talking crap to one another, like, oh, I would do this to you if I faced you. And so it's kind of cool to just kind of bury the hatchet with some of those rumors and see if it's all talk or if it's real.
And again, a lot of that talk is pretty friendly, but it is kind of cool to see it come together. A lot of these guys might have played each other at the college level at one way or another, whether they be at the same level, D2, plenty of NAIA players, also a handful of some JUCOs and D1s out there. But, again, it's just been a really special summer for all these guys to come together. Not often do we see the amount of success that this team has in just a month. 29-1, 25-game winning streak. Now we're going to see how they actually play against each other. Barlow rips that one towards third, but of course he hits it right at one of our best fielders all year, Alex Crouch. And that's out number 2 with a 5-3 putouts. And again, now here comes another guy that's had a pretty interesting route here to the Expedition League. It's a switch-hitting utility player, catcher, and infielder who does have a little bit of experience in an MLB draft league. It's Bradley Harmon. So how are you able to get Bradley up here to the Magic City?
Yeah, man. I coached a player that I knew who played with him, Niall Ball, who's now Atlantic League, Lancaster Barnstormers. So it was one of those, baseball's kind of a small world. Once you build mutual connections, you kind of get to know everyone inside the game. So it was kind of one of those things.
It's always pretty interesting to see how those all these storylines just kind of mix together, and then you fast forward 3 years down the road, and I actually didn't know that you got Bradley Harmon from talking things over with Niall Ball, and of course he had quite one of the most impactful 2-week periods I think of anybody probably in your summer league. As first game we saw for him in Bancroft was that no-hitter, of course, against the Albert Lee Lakers, and then he went on to the American Association, but played a little bit for the Explorers as well as the Railcats in that league. So definitely some pretty cool stuff. But anything else you want to share on perhaps Niall?
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the most elite competitors I've seen. Dealt with a lot of adversity. Was at Mizzou, then went to a D2, and the first outing I ever coached me through hitter. So I mean, that's always pretty cool to experience. And yeah, he was just a really elite competitor, man. And that's why he's made it in professional baseball, because he does the right things and he treats people with respect. And yeah, I mean, he's just a really stand-up guy, and I think that's part of the reason why I think guys make the professional level, especially at the indie ball route, is I mean, good player, but good clubhouse guy too, and I think those things really matter.
And the same can be said, obviously, about those other 3 players just signing as well. Missoula Paddleheads got Cameron Willman, and then for the Grand Junction Rockies, also in the Pioneer League, getting Jacob Wesselman. And then this one, the most recent, a very good signing. I'm a big fan of it. Ben Lavorsi, another guy, very short tenure coaching him, but also He's going to a great organization. They're getting a great competitor with talents both in the field and at the plates. Harmon gets rung up by Gutierrez for out number 3. But, yeah, Lavorsi to Fargo Moorhead, the Red Hawks. Now, that one's a very cool sign. Do you have anything to say about Ben and that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd been to Red Hawk games when I was growing up, and I think Ben's a great fit there. I mean, they run a first-class organization. They're one of the premier teams in the American Association. I think it's a really, really good fit. I mean, he's a Minnesota guy, Midwest guy, and, I think that has – and he's a really good player. I mean, what did he do? He was another really cool debut. Just like Niall, I think his first game he hit, 3 home runs? So, I mean, that's really cool to see. Yeah, so I guess if you want to go pro, just have a really good debut. Summer league, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a correlation.
Well, currently now we're heading to the bottom of the first. It's 1-0. Reed Butts is going to take the mound, but Team Red giving him a 1-run cushion, and not quite sure. We're not statting this one, but I'm not even sure if on that fielder's choice in the throwing error might be a contested run, but it's not going to count towards the perfect 0 ERA for Thomas Gutierrez nonetheless. So let's bring the attention back to the guys we got here. Thomas Gutierrez, 34 innings pitched, 42 strikeouts, and doing just what he did at the collegiate level at the Cumberlands. He just find ways to win games and really just compete his tail off. What have you enjoyed about Thomas so far this summer?
First things first, he's a really good person, really good human being. Treats his teammates really well, treats the coaching staff really well. He's coachable, not that there's much that needs to be coached into him, but yeah, I think he's just always willing to learn, and I think he, again, competitor. I mean, that dude never wants to come out of a ball game and just pitches his tail off. I mean, he's a really, really good pitcher, and you never have to worry about him on the field or off the field, so it's really, really easy to get along with him and to root for him.
Absolutely. Now, that's a guy that's, if you follow along with him on his socials, he is just really, I feel, it'd be safe to say he's loving the time here in Souris Valley, but also another guy that I think I can attest to that says, just baseball is that much more fun when you're winning ball games. So, again, it's safe to say you got a lot of guys that have that mentality. But again, we're all just out here to have fun at today's game as Reed Butts rifles a fastball. That probably should have been called a strike. Don't have a scoreboard here today, but yeah, I think it's on. We just don't quite have anyone manning it. But Hunter Delanoy, the batter. We've talked up Hunter plenty of times this year. He's a guy that has just stressed consistency at Wayne State University. And that's definitely translated here as well as he takes a hack at that one. Gets a piece of it. Should be an 0-2 count. Delanoy, a 4.62 average. 11 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs. He's driven in 22 and scored 30 of his own. One of the most impressive stats about that as well is just his patience. He has drawn 20 walks as Butts tries to wave goodbye. That ball is off the plates. Reed's just another guy. He just has fun out there. He'll strike a guy out. He'll give him a friendly wave back to the dugout. Just little things like that. Almost go unnoticed, but didn't quite get that time. But he will get Delanoy on the next pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So Reed Butts, this was one of 3 players that you got out of Valley City State University this spring, and he'll be at the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma this coming spring. So that's another school that you've had quite a pipeline for a couple other guys, for Luis Pelayo as well as Brett Laura. So how are you liking that fit?
I think it'll be a good fit for him. I mean, he's a good pitcher, going to a good program. I mean, I coached 2 USAO guys last summer, coached 2 this summer, and all 4 have been really good players. So, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that good players go to good programs. I think, if Reed can continue to mature and continue not to get complacent, I think he's going to be really, really good there.
Yeah, definitely a talented guy. He's got the build that you want for a southpaw pitcher, and he has shown some really good stuff this summer. That pitch is going to miss inside for a ball to Mr. Seth Delgado, another guy that has just come from another very successful program as That much can be said up and down this entire roster. Delgado, second on the team in hitting to Delanoy. For the players we still have, he cranks this one to right field, and that is down for a hit. So a pair of hits so far for both the blue team and the red team for the Souris Valley Sabre Dogs. Chris Monroe will step up to the plate, and not enough can be said about the success he's had this summer. But first, a guy that really has his priorities set straight, and a guy that you could tell just by looking at him and how he plays the game, a guy who just works his tail off, is definitely Seth Delgado at first. What do you got to say about Seth this summer?
First-class player, better human being. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, so many of these guys, are amazing ball players, but they're even better human beings, if that's even possible. And Seth's one of them. I mean, I'd never have to worry about him. And if anyone at home's wondering about why that fly ball might have fell, each team's got two pitchers playing out there, just because roster size is only 13 for position players, so it's a little bit like a fall World Series, but it's going to be competitive. It looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, but definitely a lot of those guys kind of want to be in those positions as well, whether it's having fun or just getting some reps as well. Kind of why we're doing the broadcast, just to get more reps and to get more attention on these guys. But we got Marco Zuna at third base. That is pretty interesting at the hot corner, especially with his big righty up, as this one's grounded up the middle. Harmon gets it off the deflection to Barlow to first. A double play. 1-2-3 inning, and Butts knocks the ball down on the way to Harmon. He stays with it. And Jake Barlow does what he does best at second base, and he just makes nearly every play. And when he's in the middle infield, there's a good chance that they're going to twist it, and it doesn't matter who you have at short. That time it was Harmon, 6-4-3, and that's just a great defensive play right there that we've seen. Now, I've given plenty of credit to other teams in this league, formerly Red River as well as Pierre. We've seen some great defense because we have such a great offense, so many hard-hit balls that hits just kind of get taken away. But that time, again, I think our defense kind of gets overlooked just by how dominating our pitching as well as our hitting has been.
Yeah, I mean, our focus was to get really good hitters and really good pitchers, but at the college level in baseball, if you're a good hitter, most of the time you're a pretty good player just overall. I mean, maybe you have your occasional first baseman or corner outfielder that can just slug, but I mean, Crouch is a really, really good defender. Martinez, good defender. Other Martinez, good defender. Louis is a good defender. I mean, we don't have a bad defender on this team, and they all can hit. And that was our main priority, I think. I mean, Eric and Edwarney, we knew are Gold Glove type guys. So I mean, they're maybe the only two guys in our roster where we're like, we need these two because of their defense. But everyone else, it was more offensive focused, and we just, they're good players, so they're pretty good defenders. They care about their whole game.
Absolutely. So that's definitely carried over on that last play that we just saw. And Gutierrez is back out there on the bump. I believe he is looking at perhaps 2 innings of work today. So correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Coach, but I think we got a 7-inning contest. All right, so we're looking at 7 innings. Goody is going to be doing 1 more inning of pitching here for Team Blue, who are trailing 1-0. After this, we're going to be looking at Trent Dewyer for 1 inning, Ethan Swanson the next for inning number 4. Innings 5 and 6 will belong to Joel Barker. And then to finish things up, we're going to be seeing the unofficial debut for Miguel Reyes Jr. Now, again, be sure to go to our social medias at SV SaberDogs on Instagram, Twitter, and as well as Facebook. Check out that schedule. I believe we'll be back at home the 7th and 8th against the Pure Trappers. Also, be sure to check out those details for how to potentially work out a refunding process for the games that should have been played today. As today was originally Military Appreciation Day, but pilots dissembled as of Wednesday morning via email. Martinez cranks this one high. Looked good off the bats, but it's within range. The left fielder, I believe that's Mr. Joel Barker.
Just keep it to the pitchers. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, you love to see it. And up now as Martinez was the 6th hitter in the order. And again, it's just a matter of who wants to go up there and get ABs. I think we're looking at Marco Ozuna batting.
Yeah, we made a rule today that one pitcher can hit. But we wanted to get the position players a lot of at bats. I mean, that's what they're here for and all that. And but we, a little bit of fun. We said, one pitcher for each team can hit if they want. I guess they chose. Oh wow! Holy cow!
And this was a good decision. Marco Ozuna hits one in the gap and all the way to the alley. Marco's rounding second, and he is racing into third. All right, so if you're Southeastern perhaps watching, maybe give Marco an AB or two. He just tripled off of Thomas Gutierrez. Wow. Gives a little flex to the red dugouts, and again, he was kind of a little chirpy as well between the guys, but it's going to be interesting to see when he comes out to pitch later today. But another guy that's a competitor, another guy that has, a little bit of a competitive attitude to him, but you like to see it. As Luis Pelayo is stepping in once again, 1-for-1. That pitch in the dirt. Again, not statting this game. This won't count one way or another towards our winning streak. Our record will remain 29-1. After this, Pelayo ground back up the middle. And there's a nice play at second. Miguel Reyes Jr., the 6'3", 215-pound pitcher out of the University of New Mexico, gets a speedy Luis Pelayo out at first. But in the process will score Marco Ozuna. So those of you rooting for Team Red, you can enjoy a 2-0 lead so far. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 63 innings. I don't think Marco had any ABs at Cochise.
No, he's been begging for an at-bat all summer, but no. I mean, part of that stuff is you just don't want to see something wacky happen, someone doing something they're not used to and getting hurt, but thought might as well let him have some fun today, and I figured when I made that rule, Marco was probably going to be the one to take it.
Well, he harped at it. And again, I would definitely say, this is a team that's, whether you're looking up and down, kind of like a day-to-day thing, but all of our players, I would say, have been pretty tough with the grind. Like a lot of days in a row without many days off, as Wilmus will hit this one towards straightaway center. I think this one should be corralled by Delanoy for out number 3, but I would definitely say this is probably one of, if not the most well-managed team in the league, I would say, because, while other teams might be running into issues with pitching position players or maybe having guys that might be, having too many innings, I would definitely say that does not reflect Souris Valley whatsoever. We have plenty of pitchers came here to pitch. If they hit or if a position player wants to pitch, then the latter of which might be an issue kind of like Pujols or Yachty, where they just want to go out there and just get an inning in. And it's not really going to affect the game one way or another. So when it comes to injury issues, I really would think that there hasn't been any with the Sabre Dogs.
Zero problems with that.
Yeah, I could definitely say it's been very good to kind of just as well manage those long road trips, and yeah, we have really not seen any problems with injuries. So Reed Butts back out there to pitch. A 1-2-3 inning for him. Got a strikeout. Gave up one hit from Seth Delgado. Then the double play by Monroe ended things there. We got 3 hitters due up at least. The rest of that blue order, it's going to be looking like Jesus Rojas to lead things off. Alex Crouch on deck. And Eric Martinez at shortstop after that. And that'll be another pitcher potentially getting an at-bat. We're just going to have to wait and see who that is. For Team Blue coming in next will be Trent Dewyer. So Dewey Day was supposed to be Wednesday, but we woke up to news we don't have a game. Today or tomorrow. That was Wednesday and Thursday at that point. And then as it follows, had to get a new schedule. So the weekend games fall through again. Again, for all of the questions about the original game scheduled for today or Sunday, the refunding process to get that started. Be sure to look up all the details on our Facebook or Instagram or Twitter at the handle at SV SaberDogs. I know there's been a lot of confusion surrounding that, but it's really tough when one team goes home.
Should be counted as forfeits in my mind, but I'm not the one, I guess, who makes that decision. But if you quit, you quit. I mean, I don't care.
I will second that one. As Butts offers a first pitch to Jesus Rojas. This is another guy that's kind of a late addition, but he's been here for the better part of a month now. And he's a guy that has been really terrific, not just at the plate, but also defensively. And average also soundly built up to 412. He takes a swing and a miss at a pitch against Reed Butts. But from what he's seen, he has succeeded. 4 doubles, a triple, 8 runs batted in, 9 runs. But I think with him, he just knows situational baseball. When he's got runners in scoring position, he always finds a way to get a job done.
Yeah, he does a really nice job. Can play, third, left, right. And he hits pretty well. He can use the whole field. Yeah, Reed's doing really well. Nice, right? Sheesh.
I think he came out ready to pitch, and it's Jesus to go down looking. But again, I would say another fun guy to have in the clubhouse, even on his way back to the dugout. Got a little smile on his face. Always happy. I think he's just happy to be here playing the game, which I think is one of the most important things to remember in this league. And already we're hearing some back and forth here from the blue dugout, as there's a crisp fastball from Butts right over the plates to Alex Crouch. Back in the windup now, and that one misses high. We'll take a look now at some of Reed Butts' numbers. Bless you, Coach. For Butts, 4-0 so far on the summer. Now, he did pick up a win this week. That one coming earlier in the season, as we already did have one forfeit victory. The game just kind of ended. We were planning to make it up with Red River. That's impossible now, and we will have a 5-3 victory to extend our winning streak to 25. Last time we saw it, it was 24.
5 innings, that's the league rule. I was trying to, give them the benefit of the doubt to let them finish the game, but we could have called it then. But so you only have to play 5 innings for it to be a complete game. So yeah, what did we go against them? 13-1. So yeah.
Yep, 13-1 against Red River. We could take a look at our other and how we did against the other teams. But first for Butts, 4-0, 28 innings pitched, 39 strikeouts. For a handful of games, wasn't some walking issues. He had some 15 walks, but for the most part, he has been phenomenal. A very, passionate player, and he just goes right after the hitters. An ERA of 3.21. Crouch ropes that one foul, and a batting average of 215. So far, also perfect on the summer against the other two teams, the North Iowa Rage and Roosters. Had them for a perfect 9-0. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Of course, we got the Pure Trappers. We'll add those up quick. Perfect 10-0. So it's without a doubt been a pretty successful summer for you. There have been, obviously, whether you look at a winning team or a losing team, there's always adversity, there's always challenges, and always some things to battle through. But 29-1. This kind of thing just doesn't happen in baseball. You could be looking at a team that has 20 wins to 10 losses, and you look at them like they're outstanding, and that is outstanding. But I don't know. It's just really been kind of set apart, and it's really been the talk of the league as of late. Just the biggest challenge for the rest of the teams is just to beat the Sabre Dogs. You're not a guy that's not used to having your team kind of circled into schedules. You've seen it at other leagues past, Lafayette as well as Bismarck State. And many times, when teams beat you, there's always a lot of kind of celebration about that. And teams obviously huddling together, and you hate to see it, but at the same time, there's a little bit of respect to the amount of success that you've had. As Martinez cranks one way out foul.
Dewey caught that freaking bullpen. That was pretty nuts.
Well, Dewey's ready for the game. He's throwing a bullpen. He hasn't even taken his eyes off the field yet. Saw that one coming in. Nice little reaction. Butts back in the winds up. That one gets away from him, and Martinez draws a walk. He's playing second base, but we also are going to see an at-bat from a Mr. Miguel Reyes Jr. Now, this is the first day that we're seeing Miguel. He was obviously with the team dinner last night, but we're going to see him pitching later today. What do you got to say about the big guy at the plate here?
I think he's a really good pitcher. He had a really good junior college career, and just had a really good high school career. I mean, he's highly recruited. I think he's a really good arm. I think if he keeps at it, and he's super professional. When you speak to him, and he's got really good manners, and I think he's got a good future in baseball if he keeps at it.
Well, all the qualities of a D1 talent, as you can possibly say. New Mexico, another pipeline school for you. You got Lance Russell out of there, plus Cameron Willman. Now he's a Missoula paddlehead. Russell, another outstanding guy to have in the clubhouse back in Bancroft, and now Miguel Reyes Jr. Finally, here's some music back down there from the dugout. And why not? It's an inter-squad. Like a wise former USSSA team said, we're just here to have fun. Swing and a miss for Reyes Jr. Butts is going to be going 3 innings, so if he keeps this up, then it is going to be looking good for those of you pulling for the Sabre Dogs wearing red today. And there's a hanger bunt that's walking off the mound, but Ty's not going to give it to him. Curveball, more crisp like a slider, but off the plates. I thought that one might have run in. Butts pitching to Ben Wilmus. Mainly a shortstop for the Iowa Hawkeyes, but also he's done a fantastic job as catching. But now, just as I say that, Reyes heading for second. There's the throw across the diamond, and they didn't get the tag on. Barrett had it calculated for an out, but they cannot get the tag on him. A drop third strike, and it's a 2-bagger for Reyes Jr. The tying run is on. The go-ahead is at the plate with Hunter Delanoy. Well, we're having fun out there. Not many times we see the Sabre Dogs give away free bases like that, as that really has not been the case this summer. But even in inter-squad, we're hustling, making those plays across the diamond and taking extra bases, as Martinez ends up all the way at third. Went with 2 down. I've said it many a times. There have been plenty of reasons given from the Sabre Dogs, for all those watching at home, why you run out every ball in play. Strike one called to Delanoy. Didn't quite get a chance to talk to you about what kind of player that we've got in Hunter Delanoy. Now, we kind of knew what to expect with the outstanding numbers that he put up at Wayne State, not just this year but over his career. But he's definitely a guy that has been one of the most reliable bats in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Consistency, I mean, she's on a 20-game hit streak. I mean, he just hits. I think he can get out of bed at 8 a.m. and hit and have a 3-hit ball game. I mean, he's just a natural hitter.
And when that 20-game hitting streak did come to an end, Hunter went, well, he strikes out the Butts, but again, he was a guy that got up out of bed and decided, you know what, I miss hitting the ball, and he went out and went 4 for 4, was our player of the game. So even if he has an off day, you can expect that he will rectify that very quick. Well, Butts gets himself out of a jam with 2 runners in scoring position. And they'll be left stranded there. The tying runs left on as Team Red still in control of this inner squad, 2-0. Looks like we'll see Ben Newbert coming up to the plates. Barlow also, the green Delta State helmet on. And can't say how jealous I've been of one of my former undergrad mentors in communications, Cody Clark, for getting to call his games, as he's just had an outstanding number of postseason accolades, as have plenty of these guys. National College Baseball Writers Association named Newbert All-Region plus All-American. And he, last time we saw him, went off for a huge game against the Pilots. That one broadcast on Beck. For those of you along for that one, or in case you missed it, Newbert really gave the Sabre Dogs the cushion that set them apart from the Pilots, but then later it was necessary. It was 5-0. Later became tied up at 5, ended regulation that way. But the Sabre Dogs outpowered the Pilots on the summer, 42 home runs to 6. So while it was a little nerve-wracking to be in that situation of sudden death, you know we can rely on 3 of our strongest hitters, 2 of which we're about to see here in Ben Newbert and Jake Barlow. But on the mound, Trent Dewier. It's Dewey Day for an inning. I think he's going to be excited to pitch, or at least finally get to pitch against some of our guys. Again, one of the nicest guys I would probably say in the clubhouse. Not sure he's had any jarring back and forth with any of the hitters, but we're going to find out here. Dewey's given us 25 innings of work, 3 dubs in 4 starts. He's struck out 30 batters in those 25 innings, walked 7, plunked only 4, has an ERA of 1.8, and an opposing batting average of 157. Now, I got to say, probably my favorite game of Trent came against, once again, Red River on that Route 2 matchup that found its way south of the border in South Dakota. Now, all the way to the bottom of the 6th, it was tied up at 1. And Dewey locked up with Nate Scott, but there's just a couple of hits, just a matter of a couple of things going right for the Pilots. They were out-hit that game, but 1-0 early. Dewey had kind of put on his heels with that 1-run lead, but really didn't phase him, to say the least, as he still continued to pitch, still struck out plenty of batters in that game, earned player of the game honors, and again, just totally level-headed, kept his composure, and that ended up being a 4-1 win for the Sabre Dogs. Do you have any comment going all the way back to middle to late June?
Yeah, I mean, we were playing really good baseball then, you know, and I just remember it was really hot down there, and that was definitely I think the biggest part of the grind of I think that's when we were playing like 13, 14 days in a row, so it was a pretty big grind. A lot of the guys were tired, but we just kind of persevered. It's got a really resilient group, so that makes sense.
Definitely resilience, as we still see plenty of guys here in uniform today having fun, just playing the game. It doesn't matter if it's against their own teammates or against other teams. Sanctioned matchups, as that one misses low for a ball. Dewey versus Newbert. Quite a matchup we're feeding you here, but again, the matter of the same circumstances for a lot of these teams. Plenty of days in a row with games, not a whole lot of days off. You got to be having fun out there. That's what it's all about. And a lot of our guys were aching just to get back on the field. Very glad we can get this scrimmage, this inner squad together. Newbert flies that one away. And Newbert has been another astounding player. You look up and down the order for all these batting averages. A 346 on a team that is hitting 369 as an average. So that really says something for just the quality of batters 1 through 9 and beyond. And that fastball called off the plate for a ball. 4 home runs for Newbert, 29 runs batted in, and 9 doubles. I love the shimmy. It's more just a sway back and forth, but that's what Dewey calls it. Dewey in the shimmy, but it doesn't pay off this time. He will walk Newbert on a pitch in the dirt. Thanks again for joining us on the broadcast on our YouTube. Kind of a laid-back broadcast, I would say, today. I want to thank Justin for all of his hard work all summer long, keeping us on the air, all the behind-the-scenes work as well, setting everything up. But again, just another opportunity for those of you interested watching in on some of our players.
What a quick question for you since you found it, but what was that how old was that picture of Jake Barlow that you posted?
I think he was 12. I'll probably do some digging here.
Where did you find that?
I think it was another one of our interns, Ty Barrett, did some digging to his Facebook. We were having
Oh my god. Oh my god. That picture, yeah, I thought he had to have looked at, my guess was 14, but that was ridiculous. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I think he said it was 12 years ago. I'll probably guess he was 12 or 11, but, it was more of a senior picture-esque type of picture for Jake Barlow. We were having fun watching just a week ago, actually. That was when that one was. This one hit on the ground sharply towards Eric Martinez, but shortly after the game we posted after Barlow came up big, tying the game with a solo bomb, but also hitting 2 out in the first home run derby we've been a part of this summer against the North Iowa Ragin' Roosters. Jake Barlow kind of came out that night, Plenty of long balls at the Bancroft Memorial Park field. And you could probably dig up that picture as well, the one we're talking about. You just lost to Jake Barlow. That was a good one. After the ground out, we go to Bradley Harmon. Harmon will take that one in the dirt. It's a member of the... Get this one for you here. It was in an MLB draft league. Takes another pitch up and away from Trent Dewyer. And again, Harmon played for the Frederick Keys in Frederick, Maryland. Had college ball at Polk State in Florida. He also debuted just a week ago. Doing very, very good at times we needed him to. 2 RBI double plus a home run. Some competitive games against the Roosters, but ultimately more wins. So again, I like how you put it earlier, just really resilience that we've seen on this team from the summer. They're going to call a strike on the outer half. Harmon struck out his first time up. Again, these at-bats don't really count for anything. 273 hitter from the games that have counted. But he showed off the power, and he's quite a presence when you talk to him. Just a big guy, big bulky guy, broad-shouldered. Looks like he can drive a baseball, and that's what he's shown us so far. He'll show the discipline here. Checks his equipment to the side, and he will walk to first. Now we got a Cochise guy, both at the plates and on deck. We've already talked just a little bit about Marco Ozuna, but Eddie Martinez, another late addition to the Sabre Dogs, a big guy, 6'5", 215. I think the guys call him Chamo, means kid. So as amongst guys that are pretty much adults out there, this guy's just a bit on the younger side. What do you know about Eddie?
Yeah, he's an elite defender. I mean, mid to upper. It's a good piece. Looks like Hunter's got it.
All right, so Eddie, that one once again shows off the barrel. Hit it on the nose, but Delanoy races back to the deepest part of the field to make the grab. So again, Martinez has shown us some good stuff as well. Good gap-to-gap hitter. And another guy that's just very patient. He's really hasn't been fooled on any pitches so far. He's not going to swing out of his elements. While some guys might lunge, might reach, he knows the zone very well, knows his wheelhouse. there's not a whole lot of guys, I'd say, that have a better approach with less than 2 strikes. Well, Marco Ozuna with the triple and the run scored buys himself another at-bat here with runners at the corners. Sabre at third, Harmon at first, and Ozuna will watch one right down Broadway for strike 1. Dewey has his pitch. No shimmy here from the stretch. That one at the knees called for a strike. So now again, you got to see just a little bit about 2 of the top guys at Cochise down in Tucson. You were off to a 10-0 start. That was the first of just a handful of losses at Bismarck State. You've had a fantastic spring, but you got to see, again, a glimpse of what these guys were bringing. So did kind of playing Cochise in Tucson have a hand in bringing both Martinez and Ozuna up to Minot?
Yeah, I mean, first off, Eddie he's just an elite defender. He runs really well. He makes some really nice plays defensively. Great arm. And then he's got elite pop. And he, like you said, he doesn't really come out of his element. He just drives gap to gap. And he's really, really fast. I think he's got a pro body. And then that day we played Cochise, I think we lost 3-2. And we faced Trey Meza, is a D1 commit. Might have been one of the best pitchers in that conference. Then one of their best relievers, and then Marco, who's the conference pitcher of the year there. So we had our work cut out for us. I mean, we had a top offense in the JUCO D2 in the country, and we didn't have a lot of success against them because I mean they were just built on pitching and defense. And when you do that, you're going to be set up for a lot of success.
Well, absolutely. You kind of pushed BSC this spring to new heights against competition that was really top of the line at the 2-year level. Just a game shy of the JUCO World Series against Kirkwood, but again, other college coaches said, there were a lot of mental victories that day from what they watched. Kirkwood, obviously, they're almost a guaranteed punch of the ticket to the JUCO World Series, but those were phenomenal games, and definitely recruited quite the team this past spring for Bismarck State. And another team that you also introduced them to, Cochise. So 3-2. Now that's another outstanding ball game. I mean, obviously, you probably would have liked a little bit more success offensively, but like you said, you had your work cut out for you with the quality of pitchers that you saw. So it's always nice to kind of get them, on your roster as well, just to say, hey, I've had a hand in coaching these guys. Might have learned a thing or two from me, but also just nice to be around. Ozuna also commits to Southeastern, the NAIA National Champions. Seth Delgado going to step in, face Butts for the second time today. Single to right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that might be Tyler Elliott out in right field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's Montana Billings product out there.
Well, he's getting some outfield reps in. Ozuna still at the hot corner. There's a swing and a miss on the breaking ball from Reed Butts. Reed might be our player of the game here. Might have to send him up here once he gets this inning done. Just fun guy to talk to. Definitely a character. There is one. His walk-up is another one of fan favorites. It's one from SpongeBob. But it's more of just a stadium rave. But what else would you expect from Mr. Reed Butts? Another pitch to Delgado, swung on and missed. Strike 2. Wilmus still catching for the Sabre Dogs in the red. And we still got a 2-0 score here. Bottom half of inning number 3, so we're breezing right along, just about halfway through this. 2-0. Butts out of the winds up, and this one's popped up, and it's going to be heading towards the Minot Street. And off the grandstand. And swung on and missed for strike 3, dropped. Wilmus is going to throw this one to first for out number 1. Now, Coach, getting to coach here, staying in the state of North Dakota this summer, giving you a chance to stay closer to family, but also, some pretty cool things here. They don't call it the Magic City for nothing, Playing at Corbett Fields, it opened in 1938. It's been sustained beautifully. It's looking at more renovations before the Northwoods League next year. But the all-turf fields, the nice grandstand, what is it kind of like from the coach's perspective, getting to play in this stadium?
Yeah, I really like it. It's has a pro feel to it, and the grandstands is cool. I mean, I like all of it. It's a really, really nice complex.
And again, right across the street from a renowned zoo here in Minot, Monroe drives one deep, almost to the warning track in right center. But it's caught. You have a year-and-a-half-old son. Got to experience the zoo, but also the ballpark. How do you think he's liking both of those things?
Yeah, he really enjoyed it. He just loves being outside. So yeah, he liked the zoo quite a bit, and then out here he just loves running around, throwing balls. I mean, that's all he likes to do is run around and throw balls. So it's a good fit.
Yeah, I can definitely say you're doing something right by getting him obsessed with baseball. So at least from my perspective, you could probably say that's that much stands true. I mean, he might not know what he's doing, but at the same time, he has a feel for it, and every time he's out here, always wants to be on the field, always wants to play catch with you, and it's really cool to see that. Rojas fouls off first pitch of the at-bats, and he'll take this one low and inside. So again, you get 3 players, and not just 3 players, but 3 quality players from Oklahoma Wesleyan this past spring. Cody Muncie, which, by the way, congratulations if you're tuning in on the marriage to Gracie. Very cool to see that from back here from the boys in the baby and navy blue. But also, we've mentioned just not just the player, but the quality of person Seth Delgado is. Now Jesus Rojas, we've talked about the player he is as well. Now, were you able to talk with Coach Kelly down there at Oklahoma Wesleyan, just kind of bringing those guys here? Or how was the recruiting process for all 3 of them?
Yeah, I mean, I knew Cody from my time in Bancroft, and then their assistant coach reached out about Seth, and then once those 2 were here, Cody and Seth kind of recruited Jesus here, and he wanted at bats, so yeah, it's a good fit.
Absolutely, it's been a good fit. Unfortunately, Rojas goes down swinging, and Reed butts his time. And this game has come to an end. More hand motions, but he's having fun. Another guy that competes, another guy that has more fun, and that fun can kind of come out when he's winning ball games. And I got to watch plenty of game tape on this guy right here, Ethan Swanson. Already put together a little highlight reel for him, but he has been truly a phenomenal pitcher. You look up and down the numbers that you kind of set us from the spring, and it's kind of hard to stick out when all these guys just Swanson's one of them. Their innings get kind of dwarfed by the amount of strikeouts they throw in them. A lot of them averaging about 2 strikeouts an inning, and that much is stuck true about Swanson. But just something about watching him pitch. The guy just has just a little bit of dominance to him. He had his first start on the summer. Not sure if he wants to keep starting. I mean, he's definitely more of a relief pitcher, but he has shown some great stuff. A fastball and a slider that really comes in with a lot of heat. What can you tell us about Ethan this summer?
Yeah, I mean, he's been really good. I think, you just have to use him the right way, and I don't think he's a starter. I think he's a reliever. But, we just kind of wanted to give him the opportunity because he hadn't pitched in a while, so we wanted to give him an opportunity to kind of run him out there. Because I think down in North Iowa he got hit in the wrist, so we kind of kept him on a pitch limit until his wrist got completely healthy. And then once he did, we wanted to get him out there and get him a little bit more extended. So that was kind of our plan with him, and just happened to be a start.
And it was quite the start indeed. As if you were watching us with Beck back on Tuesday. Swanee was incredible. 6 complete innings, struck out 8. Only yielded 3 hits. There were no runs until the 8th inning of that game, so Swanson was outstanding. Only walked the 1 hitter. And heading into that game, he struck out 20 and only had 2 walks on the summer. Combined, he has thrown 17 innings pitched. He has had 8 appearances and the 1 start aforementioned. 28 strikeouts in those 17. 3 walks. He has only hit 1, so he is very precise as well. And Luis throws the bat. Thank you, Justin. Almost farther than a lot of balls he is. I gotta tell you, how the heck has that been such a problem this summer? With the bats just kind of flinging in foul territory, you know, they're.
I don't know. I have no clue, man. I mean, just got to use pine tar, and I mean, I think batting gloves, but some of our guys don't use them for whatever reason. So I think maybe it's a mental thing. Batting gloves and pine tar help.
Yeah, Wilmus tried to offer him some pine tar. You know, I was hitting some grounders earlier today with a max bat that was pretty darn sticky. There were times I couldn't really ungrip it, but not just a problem for the Sabre Dogs, but I would say just about every team in this league just checks the bat. They're just swinging so hard. Well, Pelayo lets that one go off the plate. He's got 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 for 2. Led off this game with a hit off Goody. Now he's facing Swanson. Tries to go back to the slider, kind of hangs up there in the zone. I don't know if I told you about this, but he came up to me correcting me one day saying, "Hey man, fun fact, I don't throw any 2-seamers." To which I responded, "Well, why the heck does it move like a 2-seamer? Like it does right there. Runs off the plate, but..."
I know. I mean, I know he throws a changeup that is pretty hard. So I don't know if maybe that's it, but his ball does look like it has some ride and some carry to it and a little bit of run. So I don't know. I mean, some guys they're really successful and sometimes they don't know why, but maybe it's his changeup. But yeah, I've noticed that too. Sometimes about his fastball really does run arm side pretty heavy.
Absolutely, plenty of run. I mean, whatever he's doing, however he's gripping, I would tell him obviously not to change a single thing, because it has been very difficult for plenty of hitters this summer to hit. He's got a .52 ERA, and opposing hitters only hitting 159. And a lot of these numbers kind of are pretty similar no matter what pitcher we're talking about. Wilmus that time. I got a little jammed, fouls it straight back. But you look at the team, they have a 1.91 averaged ERA, and opposing batting averages collectively are 189. You know, obviously it's always a concern when you have pitchers come in late. Wilmus grounds this one towards Martinez at short and gets him out at first, but you know, I definitely think the pitching has been pretty darn sustainable with how successful they have been. You know, those numbers, that 189 batting average, that really kind of takes away a lot of the threat when you know you're sending out just dudes that are just going to compete their tails off.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. I mean, we've got a lot of good arms, a lot of good, and we have good defense too. So I mean, it's nice to see for sure.
Ben Newbert, the batter, watches a fastball go by outside for strike 1. I think Justin might have told me this. A little bit of the team dinner yesterday. A little back and forth between Newbert and Swanson, respectively, of course. But and here it is. Newbert gets that slider over the plate. Watches it all the way in and does what he does best when he keeps that weight back. Rips it to left field, and he's going to let Swanson hear about it at the mound. So there was another little storyline we saw going on here. As Jake Barlow comes to the plate, I think there was a little, this won't exactly carry over because they're on the same team. I thought Ozuna and Barlow kind of wanted to go at it mano-y-mano. Well, I don't know if they're going to have that chance today, both on Team Red. Fun stuff there between Ben and Ethan. again, a beautiful day here at Corbett Fields. More people than you'd think at an inter squad, so that's always good to see. Plenty of people that just kind of want to tune into the hometown team and just watch good quality baseball. For the first time, a lot of these guys playing against each other. And again, one of the most challenging parts of summer ball is Barlow wears one there. We might be on to something here. He's getting encouraged by the likes of Olega and maybe Pelayo to charge the mound. I don't think we're going to see it. Two stand-up guys, I don't think they're going to go at it. Barlow doesn't want to take his base. And I think behind the mound umpire Ty Barrett's going to permit him to take another pitch here.
I don't know. Jake's a tough kid, but wearing 93 in the back, I can't imagine there's going to be much success this next pitch.
Nah, he took his time here. Swanson offers one that might have come in faster outside. Yeah, I don't know. He took his time walking in some circles there. But this ain't bananas and flamingos. This is Sabre Dogs versus Sabre Dogs. Ain't going to see no shoving as this one gets fouled away. Might be looking at Joel Barker heading back out to the bullpen. Swanson getting his inning of work in here. As Dewyer just finished his, and Butts finished his day on the mound, 3 innings, as that pitch over the plate called for a strike. Next for Red, we're going to be looking at Brett Laura. Another guy that has been very successful this summer. Barlow caught out in front. The off-speed got him that time. And Newbert and Swanson, yeah. That's about the extent of them going at it. I think Newbert was happy with the hit, but at the end of the day, they're still teammates here. And it's kind of cool to see. Again, I know this is a little bit of your mindset, if I'm not mistaken, but just getting guys from a variety of different programs and locations, all successful, all guys that, you know, kind of have that same mentality that the game of baseball is more fun when you're successful. You can have fun, but you also, at the end of the day, you have that mentality. You're going to come here and you're going to try to win every pitch. But, you know, at the same time, I'd say this is a pretty close-knit summer team, I would say.
Yeah, I think if you try to just go all in on having fun, it's going to be a crap show. And I think if you go all in on just the winning part without any fun, it's not going to be an enjoyable experience for the players. So I think it's got to be a professional setting, and you've got to want to win. That's got to be number one. But you've also got to have fun. You got to know when to pump the brakes. You got to know the pulse of your team. So that's always been my philosophy is, yeah, number one is winning, but number two, right behind it, not too far, is having fun and doing things the right way. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Agree to that as Brett Laura comes back out onto the mound. The standout at the USAO, the Science and Arts of Oklahoma. And before that, an Oklahoma Sooner. That's right, the team that just finished runner-up at the Men's College World Series. So again, this is the quality of players that they could be playing at. Plenty of talent just oozes outside of that dugout. And Laura's a guy that's really a competitor, really intense player. 7 appearances, 2 starts on the summer, and both of those starts he has had W's. But a guy that is also a very successful reliever, 3 for 3 on saves, a 2.34 ERA, 31 strikeouts in 23 innings of work. And for the first time this summer, he's going to be going up against Alex Crouch. So a standout at the NAI level versus a standout at the D2 level. Nobody on. Laura's still working out of the stretch as he has been all summer. Always has a matching arm sleeve. Looks kind of cool. Back in the stretch. And that one over the heart of the play looked like a bit of a slider. Broke a little bit and right back over the plate. Crouch kept the load, but kept the bat on the shoulder. Falls behind Laura 0-2. Fastball just off the plates. One, two, and Crouch will stay alive here, fouling that one straight back. Again, just an inner squad. We are already, I believe, in the bottom of the fourth. So we're moving right along, and a lot of these guys you're going to be looking at just one inning of work or so. But, Coach, as it currently stands, Sabre Dogs will have next 2 days off, but then they'll be back in Bancroft July 5th for 2 games against the Ragin' Roosters, and then at the end of this next week, back here against the Pure Trappers. 6:35 starts for next Thursday and Friday. So, any more comments just kind of on this new schedule that we're looking at with the exits abruptly of one team?
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to playing. I don't really have any comment about the Red River stuff. I mean, yeah, don't have any comment about any of that. It's kind of ridiculous, abruptly leaving.
No, that's absolutely fair, but we are now down to us, Pierre, and North Iowa. You can check out the new schedule, hoping to salvage what we have left, and just hopefully get a bit of closure. The goal from day one has been back-to-back Expedition League championships. We're hoping to get that. That is currently slated for the postseason to start right after August 1st. The 2nd through the 4th currently stands as a divisional series. Crouch goes down swinging to Laura. Elliott will be heading back out for his inning of work coming up next. Start warming up. And the championship series will be just over a month away, from Friday the 5th through Sunday the 7th. We're 1 month in, looking to get one more month down. First pitch to Eric Martinez is in there for a strike. First butts now Laura. Very efficient pitching against this blue team. And that one misses just low. So again, Eric Martinez of the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, also of New Mexico Junior College, a couple of schools that you've had former players at both of them.
Yeah, I mean, both really good programs. Again, baseball is kind of it can be a close-knit community. You know, some people don't do it the right way, but it can be a close-knit community, and those are 2 programs I really respect, and, you know, I've gotten players from in the past and currently and hopefully in the future.
Absolutely. You definitely like to go back to those programs, those coaches. There could be a lot of trust instilled that, you know, you like how they recruit, you like the quality of player that they bring in. And then for future reference, whether you be at another program or another summer league team, you could also get your chance to just get to know that person, coach them a little bit, but also share some successes with. Had some success with former NMJC talents. Daniel Hernandez went on to Rice University, and Martinez gets rung up. He was walking to first. Too happy with that call. As well as Adrian Torres, former draft pick for the Boston Red Sox. NMJC, I believe he is also UTRGV, if I'm not mistaken. But Martinez, another product that was on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. There's plenty of guys that have faced Some very good talent across all levels from D1 to 2-year. But they all compete. It's Miguel Reyes Jr., the pitcher, getting another at-bat here. So both him and Ozuna happy to get time at the plate. There's a swing and a foul tip, and plenty of noise here. Encouragement from Monroe, and Laura's getting encouragement from Jorge Olega. And Reyes pops this one up to the left side, splits Harmon, and he won't get the catch. The throw to second, and not in time. That's technically a double for Miguel Reyes Jr. Coach, you want to color this one for us?
Not good defense. Not good defense, tell you that.
I feel like that one was more Pelayo's ball to grab, but Harmon kept backpedaling and got burned for it. I gotta tell you though, I am loving just the feisty competitive attitude that we're getting from Jorge Olega this summer. Now, you've known him from the Lafayette Aviators. I haven't quite got an opportunity, as I haven't broadcast any games he's pitched in until later today, but I know that he was quite this character. Was he always this vocal when he was with the Aviators?
Yeah, he's always kind of been like that.
And Reyes also steals third. He is trying to get Team Blue on the scoreboard here. No matter what that final score is, it's a win for the Sabre Dogs. It will not count towards the winning streak, but it also won't count against it. That pitch is off the plate to Hunter Delanoy. He's looking for his first knock. Or with 2 outs, trying to get third there. He's got back to a curveball. Right down the pipe for a strike. Well, Coach, this ain't really quite your first rodeo on the broadcast. You know, you've called your fair share of Waldorf athletics, plus been on those radio shows more times than not. But ever been up in the broadcast on a baseball game? Or usually coaching them, or you've also been playing them too?
Yeah, this is the first time broadcasting baseball, you know. Usually, I mean, I've done football quite a bit, and I think I've done a basketball one maybe once or twice, but never baseball. Usually coaching it or playing it, so yeah.
Yeah, it gives you kind of another perspective from the game. Said earlier, you kind of like the view. You know, I can definitely second that. It's quite a beautiful view here. Those of you tuning in, that's what we're looking at here. Every home game from Corbett Field. Laura from the stretch in the dirt. And a ball for Delanoy walks. Well, Laura's got his hand full now as there's some fans pulling for Mr. Seth Delgado on this free day of baseball. Monroe on deck. Not the hitters you want up, I would say. First pitch to Delgado. Gives him something sharp up and in. And he'll foul it off into the trees. Or with another pitch. This one roped down the line and fair. Fair ball. Delgado rounding around first, and they are keeping it up. Everybody on red saying foul. Everybody on blue saying fair. That one's got to be fair. And, yeah, you're up here calling it fair. Delgado having himself a day at the plate. And in one swing, he ties it up. Yeah, Delgado's pointing up here. Yeah, from where we could see, yeah. And coach's discretion. And now we're going to see Olega charging the fields. He's calling for an appeal. I don't know if he knows who he's appealing to. Well, our inner squad has kind of come unhinged for the first time today. We've seen one grapple already. We've seen now one fair and foul ball.
I thought
Kinda
I thought it was fair. It was close. I mean, I don't know if we have replay or anything, but it looked fair to me.
No, I would say that thing was a foot fair from up here. Now we're going to see if Chris Monroe can follow it up. He gets a pitch just low for a ball. Olega is not letting that one go just yet either. Yeah, Coach, play that one back and see if you can
All right, I'll try to play
find where that one is.
See if I
In the meantime, we'll follow along with Monroe's at-bat. That was a foul ball. That pitch missing inside. Delgado will take third. Yeah.
It was fair. I think it was a fair ball after video replay.
Yeah, it looked like Ozuna might have had a play on it if he was more closer to the line.
I'll go to the dugout and tell them that after video evidence, fair ball.
I love it. Let me know what they think. Want to thank Coach Kieran for his time, obviously with us up here in the First Western Bank and Trust broadcasting booth. He might make a return, might send up another player as well, but after further review, the call on the field stands. I think we got some more people trying to tune in as well. Tune that one back. There's a fair ball. Monroe might have shot a gap, and he does. Blue is now out in front. The Sabre Dogs lead the Sabre Dogs. Those in the blue jerseys 3-2. An RBI single. And Delgado still arguing it out there on the fields. And Delgado's actually pumped up at the score. Bottom of 4, it's now the Sabre Dogs in the blue leading 3-2. That pitch just below the knees for a ball. And Coach returned. Coach, how did the players take it?
I mean, I told the dugout that it benefited, so they were happy.
Yeah. Are you going to go tell the red team? They're still out there in the field. I mean, you'll just be telling Jorge, and I don't think he'd be happy.
No, I'm not going to bring that up to him.
Yeah, he kind of already...
I don't even think he would still agree.
He's a pretty strong-willed guy. Rojas fouls this one off the foot. Goes all the way out to Harmon at shortstop. Oh, we're having fun here, but this is another thing that we've seen from the summer, a 2-out rally for the Sabre Dogs here in the bottom of the 4th. Pitch, Rojas will foul it straight back, now working with 2 strikes. And Rojas cranks this one to left and right at Pelayo. Drops down to a knee. Or a little upset. Throws the glove to the side. Now he's got a little smile on his face. I think he's fine. You're facing indie ball caliber hitters. Now Lauren Harmon trading off. Had he made the grab, it might have been the final nail in the coffin. But instead, 3-2, and now Joel Barker working with a 1-run lead. And we got Barker's parents in attendance here today, making the trip all the way from Russellville, Arkansas. Now Barker, we already know, he was 9-2, team best in team ERA at Harding University. Another late addition here, Madison Bancroft, just a couple of weeks ago. So far in the summer, 15 innings pitched, 3 starts, and 3 Ws, doing what he does best. In those 15 innings, 10 strikeouts. When we had him up here as player of the game on Jorts night, I had to mention to him, dude, this was a Greg Maddux type of game, and he just told me, thank you, Greg Maddux is my favorite player. But again, just a guy that just pitches to contact very well, mixes it up very well as you look at that last slider. Played with Harding's team leading hitter Chris Witzke, so I got to think your assistant had his little hand in getting him here as well. What can you tell us about Joel?
Yeah, I mean, he's just, again, I know a common theme, but he's a competitor, man. He's going to go out there and keep competing. And he mixes up really well. He's a really good changeup. Not super overpowering, but he mixes up with, and he's got a really good command. Controls the run game well. So yeah, I think, yeah, and obviously Witzke had a really big hand in getting him here, so that was really good for Chris and to get Joel up here.
And I've been kind of paraphrasing the entire summer just about the quality of player that you're getting, but no one in summer league, or even I would say, with the success that you've now had at the head coaching level at BSC, really just kind of recruits the type of players that you do. What are some things that you look for in these guys?
Do they like baseball? I don't know if a lot of kids anymore like baseball that play it. I really don't. I mean, you have kids that they would rather do a lot of other things than play baseball, but they claim they're a baseball player. There's a difference between a baseball player and someone who plays baseball, and I want baseball players, not just someone who plays the game. And then we look for a guy who's competitive, cares about winning, cares about success, personal and team. And then the third part, not the final part, but the third big one is, are they a good player? And you can tell by film, stats, all that other stuff. But I think a lot of coaches skip those first two ones, and those aren't two that I skip. Do you love the game? Do you actually love it? Would you play in any conditions to play it? And are you competitive? Do you want to win? And then the third one is, are you a good player?
Well, I definitely think, once you get that type of player and enough players like that to fill a roster, you without a doubt are able to crank out 29-1 teams. I like how you said playing in any of those conditions, because a lot of times that we've seen over this summer, it's been pretty make or break a lot of these conditions. A lot of days on the road, on buses, but at the same time, they're doing the same thing at the next level. They're doing the same thing past college. They're busing across states, but at the same time, they're busting their tails off just to try to play this game they love and play it well. So
I don't think people understand that in the minor leagues, you bus everywhere. I mean, the Memphis Redbirds bus to Des Moines to face the Iowa Cubs, and that's in AAA. Some of those guys are getting paid $500,000. I don't think people understand that. It takes a lot to play this game. It takes a lot to love this game, and a lot of guys don't have it, unfortunately. And I think that's what you have seen with maybe some other situations.
absolutely, you got to have a little bit of grit when you get to another level of competition. A lot of these guys, they're grinders. They have grit, and they have a lot of mental toughness. It's the same can be said for a lot of players that go from little league to middle school to high school to college. You learn new things about the game. A lot of times those are the stages where a lot of people fall off when they're not ready to make those sacrifices. But I'd say a lot of these kids, a lot of these interns, a lot of these staff members, they've made sacrifices, to keep this team afloat, to keep this team successful. And
yeah, I think it's the temptations that come with it. No, don't get me wrong when I say this. Like, I have friends that have been in fraternities, but when you get to college, there's more temptations. There's more freedom. And I think some guys who are younger in their career find out if they like the game or if they love it. And I don't know if the players that really love it stick around it for a while. What a play right there by Eric. Holy cow.
yeah, that is well, from what we've seen for Eric Martinez, he is quite a shortstop on the run, and you blink and you miss it. He gets the throw off to Monroe at first base. So there's another guy you recruited. That's just a phenomenal glove. Another D1 talent out of El Paso, Texas. And speaking of El Paso, that's another little bit of a pipeline. You have had plenty of successful players from that town One that sticks out that I know everybody has probably heard of at this point, Ivan Melendez. You've had him for an entire summer.
Yeah, had Ivan Melendez before Ivan Melendez was the Hispanic Titanic. I mean, before he was just a JUCO All-American from Odessa, Texas. Playing at Odessa, Texas. He's always been from El Paso, but that's the thing that irks me is everyone thinks they're too good for everything, but yet Ivan Melendez, who is just the Golden Spikes winner, played in Bancroft, Iowa, a town of 5 to 700, and you have guys maybe playing that complain about those types of settings. It's like if the Golden Spikes winner, who's probably going to be a first-round draft pick, can play in that setting, then you can. It's ridiculous, though. But everyone thinks they're too good for everything now. And, yeah, I don't sit out here and gloat that I've coached Ivan Melendez, but I have, and I think the players have made me successful. But I've coached a lot of good ones, and I think, Ivan's one that obviously sticks out because of the career he just concluded at Texas. But, I mean, if the Golden Spikes winner can go play summer ball and can go play in a town of 5 to 700 with an attendance of 500, then you can. And that guy's the most humble, hard worker that I've seen. And if you can't do that, then you're in the wrong sport, man. You need to find a different one. You need to go on the lake and have fun then.
Ozuna gets rung up on a pitch from Barker. That was a pretty good one to see. But also other players out of El Paso. Coach Kieran has played Miguel Miko Soto. We've also had the Lakes. Apart from Soto, also got the Galindo brothers, Bobby and Julian. Great college competitors, all of those at Bancroft, but Adrian Torres as well. But again, just up and down. A lot of guys, a lot of grit and a lot of heart for the game that we've seen not just from this summer, but other teams past for you. That was just the first inning of work that we've seen from Joel Barker, and a very clean one. Kept the bases empty, and now we're going to be looking at Tyler Elliott, the Montana State Billings boy.
This is why inter squads are fun though, is because look at Dewey and Swanson right now. Just got the coaches' helmets on and everything, and that's why baseball's fun. That's why it's fun to coach, because you get to see moments like this where these guys just kind of get to let loose and have fun.
And they get to enjoy the perspective from you and Chris right here. Dewey's going to be pitching third for his boys in blue, now leading 3-2. Swanee's over there at first. Both of them pitched tremendous against tremendous caliber hitting for Team Red. And we're going to see if blue is going to build their newfound lead. Again, if you missed it earlier, maybe rewind and be the judge if you think that good old Seth Delgado had a fair ball or a foul ball on that RBI double. And then right after him, Monroe drove him in from third to get us where we are here. Trying to look out in right field. That's where Reed Butts is going to be playing now. Filling in for Tyler. And he's going to be looking at an inning of work here.
This is completely unrelated, but apparently the Cardinals today hit 4 home runs in a row. It's insane.
Just about a day after Nolan Arenado hits for the cycle, 4 home runs in a row. Now that is pretty cool. I know we're a pair of Cardinal fans, so that's obviously cool to see. Now, I've gotten a lot of compliments about the blue jerseys that we've seen from the Sabre Dogs. When you look at them closely, they're probably more reminiscent of the Twins, but they're also.
They do remind me of the throwback Cardinals a little bit. Yeah, right. The throwback Twins and Cardinals. It does look a lot like.
Yeah, definitely kind of cool to see that at the summer league level. You know, plenty of teams, they just rock with the 2 jerseys. We have 4, so very fun with the branding that we've seen this summer. The amount of uniforms we've got to see as well. Elliott's gets crouched to fly out in the first at bat here. Martinez at the plate, and Reyes Jr., after the quote-unquote double, will be back on deck. Elliott from the stretch. Swung on in a foul tip. Back into the mid of Wilmus. Might have just outstretched a finger there. The game kind of halted here for a moment. Martinez will step back in. Wilmus looks to be all right. Even on an inner squad, these guys are still pumping heats. But that one just misses low and away for another ball. 80 degrees and sunny for those of you in mind not tuning in. Not too late to come out to the ballpark. Bottom of the 5th. Still have great pitchers thrown for both of these teams. Joel Barker's got another inning of work coming in. Also got Ozuna and Olega pitching for Team Red after Elliott here. And then after Barker's second inning of work, we'll have Miguel Reyes Jr. coming in. Reyes just finished his senior year at New Mexico. Plenty of guys, even seniors, could still have grad student eligibility as Martinez ropes one towards Newbert, and it is out for out number 2. So Ben Newbert at first base now. Like to see that. Now we know he's been kind of the everyday DH for a shoulder issue, but that has not stopped him from wanting to be in the lineup almost every day as the DH and also providing what he has had at the plates. Now, I want to ask you personally, because this was kind of a cool story before the start of the year. Back at the Prospect League last year, Reyes will fly out some butts, but Ben Newbert, a guy that you just couldn't really find the answer for. You said he was a very frustrating guy just because you could not find ways to get Ben Newbert out. When you were coaching Lafayette, he was playing for the Johnstown Mill Rats.
Yeah, I mean, we were regular season champs, postseason runner-ups, broke the team record in wins, or franchise record in wins. And Johnstown, I mean, they were an expansion team. They weren't as good, but God, like, Ben was so difficult to get out. I mean, we tried everything. I was like, go up and in, go soft, low and away, like, pitch forward, pitch backwards, and like the dude hit for the cycle against us. Like after when I was looking for players, I was like, I need to get this guy because if I don't know how to get him out, then I don't think anyone will know how to.
If you can't beat him, join him, and that's what you kind of had Ben do here. And you know, he has been a part of many big games. He's given us plenty of things to be excited about. The kind of hitter that he is. It was really cool to seeing the first 3 pitches of the year at the plate. Pelayo singles, Demeter doubles, and then Newbert drives both of them in on the first pitch of his at-bat. 3 pitches, 3 runs to start off the year. That is how you start off the year. It was a very fitting start to the summer that we've had so far for Souris Valley. And then later walked things off. We were looking at another home run derby by chance a lot sooner when Red River was here as well, tied up at 3, bottom of the 9th. But a couple of quick guys to get on base for Demeter. Another guy on first, but Demeter would come around to score. Newbert had the walk-off hit in that game. 4-3 was that final score. Back not as deep into the win streak, but still kind of kept it alive when it became...
He's wearing batting gloves, finally. Look at Louis, finally wearing batting gloves after he throws the bat 200 feet.
So he's making an adjustment. That's kind of cool to see. It took Seth Delgado about 3 or so weeks to wear batting gloves, and it took Luis Pelayo about a month and a week. So let's see if it does him well here. He'll take a pitch just on the outer half for strike one. Now, this is another guy that you had a little bit of a relationship with, similar to Newbert, as you've seen him play plenty of times. But at one point, Louis told me, I've always wanted to play for Coach Kieran. So we tried to do in 2020, didn't work, but kept in contact, and finally now we're able to work it out. And he has been a phenomenal leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I can't say enough about it. Just another great human being, great player. Love being around him. He's a great guy, funny guy. Um, yeah, I mean, 2020, damn, COVID ruined a lot of things, and that was one of them. Was me being able to coach him 2 years prior.
Back at University of Science and Arts back then, that was looking to be a very talented team. And Luis Pelayo was one of the biggest signings for them. Definitely would have been perhaps a center fielder and leadoff hitter then, but instead, never say never. He is now. Another pitch low and away for a ball. I believe we got a 2-1 count here. Monroe still at first, Reyes at second. Delgado still doing the catching. Crouch third. Martinez at short. Barker looking for his first out here, but just missing low. Won't get Pelayo to chase for another ball. I think that's Goody out there in left fields. Delanoy in center. Can't quite see what we got in right. I think that's Rojas. Barker still tuning up the band, and he fires. Pitch in the black for a fastball called strike three. Now we got Ben Wilmus coming up to the plates. Brett Laura, after his inning of work is complete, he'll head back out to third, coach there. Still a 3-2 score here. It's the best team standings-wise and statistical-wise in the Expedition League. Split into two today. We're just going to find out what is more the lucky jersey, I suppose. The Baby Blues or the Sunday Reds. Barker resets from the stretch. And the pitch. Cranked up high and out of play. And foul. That hair flip from Delgado had me thinking. Have you changed your vote for who's got the best hair in the team yet? I know you originally voted for Brett Laura.
Not sure, man. It's not me right now. I need a haircut. Yeah, the Brett one was clearly a joke. But, I mean, Wilms got a good set of hair. So does Delgado, Newbert. I mean, depends on if you're looking just like long hair or just a good cut, you know. So, I mean, I think Crouch had a good mustache the other day, and then now, I mean, he always has a good haircut going on. So
yeah, like it's not the longest, but it's good quality, you know. For
exactly. Yeah, it's shaped the head well. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough decision. Tough decision.
You're bringing up a lot of valid points here. Barker back in the stretch. Still battling Wilmus after fouling off the last one. Fires and grounded. That one's foul.
I've got a question for you since the July 4th is coming up. Do you take Joey Chestnut or all of his competitors?
I don't know, man. Joey Jaws for years now has just been untouchable. Growing up, I was a big fan of Kobayashi.
Yeah.
But
they got to bring Kobayashi back, right? Like,
yeah.
They've got to. Like, yeah. I mean, that was the best rivalry in, not in sports, but in competitive eating, like Kobayashi versus Chestnut. And there's been no one since who's even competed with him. So I think they've got to somehow bring him back. I don't know how old he is or if he's even still competitive eating, but they need to bring back Kobayashi just so someone can compete with him. Because I agree, man. Like, growing up, it was always Kobayashi.
yeah.
like when we were little, and then obviously the last better half of over a decade's been Joey Chestnut. But if you were taking one guy from our team to win a hot dog eating contest, who would it be?
I'm not really sure. It usually takes me and Justin quite some time to tear down this equipment. So I guess the answer to that would be another question. Who is always the first over there to get the post-game meals, and who usually goes back for doubles or for seconds or thirds?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, a lot of these guys, I don't know. It's different, but I mean, I think Delgado would be up there, man, just because like nutrition wise and stuff. I think he's so competitive. I imagine he would do well. Trying to think who else. I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, you brought up a very good point there. We're going to have to. I remember back on the road when we were with the North Iowa Raging Roosters, they had a middle of the week game. They called it Wiener Wednesday, but we wanted to get a glizzy eating contest and just didn't. They think we got too busy. We were kind of trailing most of that game, but instead kind of slipped our minds. Might be able to do it at some point, but
Yeah, we won that game, though. We won that game. Don't
yeah.
forget that part.
No, I won't forget it because what happened was that was the game, as you mentioned. Swanson wore one off the fingers. They were only swollen for a couple of days, and then he obviously went back to pitching like himself. And then it was this guy right here. Tyler Elliott came into the game. Very gutsy performance. About an inning and 2/3, but it was a dominating one. And that might have been 2 1/3 actually. Either way, held them scoreless, earned player of the game honors, struck out, I want to say 5 hitters, and really kind of set the tone because then after that, the Roosters, they couldn't have the answer to Elliott. Then the Sabre Dogs came up big. Hunter Delanoy got him on the board with the home run, cut the lead in half. And then another guy we were talking about, Luis Pelayo. One of, I don't know how many times he's come up big with delivering RBI hits that have put the team in the lead. So that was another very entertaining game. And it was a win.
Bottom of the fifth here.
We are looking at the bottom of the 6th. Now, I thought Elliott might have been just for 1 inning, but I think he might be going back out there for 2.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, he originally had him scheduled for 1, but he wants to keep chucking. We were only looking at a 7-inning contest. And either way, I would still think if the blue team is in the lead, that they will still go out there to hit just to get the guy his inning, whether that be Olega or Ozuna. Now, out of the bullpen for Team Blue is Miguel Reyes Jr. Barker. Still doing very good with 2 innings of work under his belt. Scoreboard still reads 3-2. Yeah, that fastball in there called for a strike on Hunter Delanoy. Delanoy, Delgado, and Monroe coming up for Team Blue. Elliott resetting from the stretch. The pitch just off the plate for a ball. All right, Coach, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so I guess Elliott wanted another one. Jorge was okay with not throwing today, so Elliott's going to throw another one, then Ozuna's going to throw the 7th.
Well, very good. All right, we're winding down here, already to the bottom of the 6th. Delanoy still the leadoff hitter, and a pitch on the low outside corner called for a ball. And Delanoy will walk. Delgado stepping back in. That pitch getting away for a ball. Now, of the 30 games we've played, 11 have been cut short by run rules. So you look past the couple of home run derby games we've had in this past week, this might be the most competitive game a lot of these guys have felt they've had, bless you, Justin, in quite some time. Ellie back in the stretch, and yeah, Delgado dancing around. That one didn't tickle. You can hear it hit the lat from up here. Yeah, Seth Delgado, he is feeling the effects of that one. A hit by pitch on a fastball from Tyler Elliott. And he's going to stay in the batter's box. Did not expect that, but then again, that's the likes we've seen from Jake Barlow earlier in this one as well. And Delgado looking for a second chance here in this at-bat. Going to restart things here with Elliott. Pitch. And that one low and away for a ball. So again, be sure to go to our social medias here. Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, the handle at SV SaberDogs. Be sure to check out the updated schedule. The SaberDogs will be back in action July the 5th, so have a happy 4th. And then be sure to tune into the broadcast for the Roosters, as Souris Valley will be back on the road until next Thursday. Delgado. How about Seth Delgado? Three hits off of three different pitchers of his teammates for the SaberDogs. So that's very cool to see him still finding success. Maybe player of the game status here. Monroe stepping in, and again, we got to constantly remind you the stats for Monroe. Fouls it back into Wilmus. And that one might have shaken up Wilmus. Going to talk things over with Witzke now. We're really just hoping he's all right. Fouls it straight back. The mask comes off. Wilmus a little shaken up by that. Elliott firing a fastball. Monroe fouling it straight back. On the summer, Chris Monroe, a .395 hitter, 12 doubles, a triple, 14 home runs, 50 runs batted in. Also, the team lead, 39 runs scored. Pick an offensive category, there's a good chance Monroe is either leading it or near the top. Putting up MVP-like numbers here in the Expedition League this summer. Lets a strike go by inside. Guy that just lives for summer ball. One of the best all time at the University of Illinois Springfield. Then went on to play at Central Michigan, an all-star in the Northwoods and the Prospect League. And this one's hit high towards the gap in left center, and Pelayo will make the grab. The tag, the relay, not in time. A sacrifice fly. Delanoy advances from second to third. Delgado will stay at first. And good fundamental baseball. Pelayo hits his cutoff. Harmon with a good throw to Ozuna at third. But just not in time. Delanoy still pretty fast. Bottom of the sixth, still looking an RBI opportunity here. As Rojas bounces this one off the plate, it's going to be a fair ball. Harmon tried to go for the barehanded grab. Ozuna's covering third. Elliott with the throw, the tag, and out number 2. Delgado gets tagged out. Rojas with an infield single. And the blue team now leading 4-2. Delgado will retreat. Did his job getting his third hit, also drawing the throw. Went for heads-up base running. There have been a handful of times that bold base running has cost the Sabre Dogs on the base paths for outs. That time was one of them. But why not go for it? Make things a little more interesting here. Alex Crouch, the batter, with the 1-0 pitch. And a fastball called for a strike. I'd say Ty Barrett's doing a pretty good job out there in the field, calling balls and strikes today. Now I think we might actually be looking at 0-2. Wilmus shading the corner. And that one just away. A lot of oomph on that one from Elliott, trying to paint that low outside corner. Just won't get it. And he'll go back in the stretch and off the plates. I want to thank Coach Kieran for his thoughts in the broadcasting booth. So we got runner on first, 2 down here, 4-2 game, and there's a swing and a miss. Crouch. And we're looking at 6 more outs here in our inter-squad. Olega still fired up here. We'll see Ozuna next inning. Pitching for Team Red and coming out now for the first time this summer for New Mexico, or out of New Mexico rather, Miguel Reyes Jr. Get a look at his numbers. The RA was a little inflated after 8 games. He had 17 innings, 10 strikeouts. We're going to see what he's looking at here with his warm-up pitches. This game's obviously unofficial, but this will be the first time we're seeing Reyes Jr. Plethora of pitches. And they're pretty crispy, coming in hot. Delgado's going to throw down to second after this. We'll see what Barlow can do up there. So the 6'3", 250-pound Miguel Reyes Jr. Giving one more pitch for Delgado, trying to keep that throw low, and that one would have been money. So Barlow versus Reyes Jr. The male athlete of the year for Delta State against a D1 arm. See how we fare here as Ozuna will make his way to the bullpen. Just one more inning of work in this friendly inter-squad. Sabre Dogs versus Sabre Dogs. And still plenty of fans here wanting to enjoy a free day of baseball. Barlow will pop this one up into the parking lot. The one closer to my Chrysler than I had hoped it was for. But it's okay. We heard pavements as Barlow rolls this one over to Crouch on the run. And a good play for out number 1. All right, Coach, we welcome you back to the broadcasting booth. What do you know?
Oh, not much. Miguel looks good so far.
Yeah, his warm-up pitch is looking pretty good. Working with a fastball changeup slider. Barlow to ground outs. Quick out number 1. Looking at him and Ozuna for the rest of this one. As that pitch will miss just high for shoulder height. Well, Coach, obviously this is a great team that's been split in two, so finally these players are seeing some great competition. Who do you think's been looking pretty good so far today?
Butts had a good outing. I think Delgado's put a couple good swings on balls. Eric's played some really good defense. I mean, all the pitchers have looked pretty good, honestly. I think that sometimes goes unnoticed when, our offense puts up video game numbers.
Yeah, really just the exciting plays stick out, but every pitch counts, and there's a lot of things that do go unnoticed under those exciting video game-like numbers from these Sabre Dogs. Another pitch in Harmon, freezing the fastball. Olega might just be getting loose, but Ozuna will be the one warming up to finish this one. If Red cannot yield any runs, as Harmon will go down for out number 2. And then Team Blue does win a game, but it doesn't really count. Most importantly, these guys just need to be back out there getting reps, getting at-bats, getting at-bats both pitching as well as hitting, getting some looks in the field. And we wanted to share that with you folks today. It had been a while since these Sabre Dogs had been on a field. Originally scheduled to play tonight, is scheduled to play Wednesday and Thursday, but quitting team did not allow that. So Team Blue does win this game, but we're still going to be playing 3 outs here. Delgado's pumped up as out number 3 goes out to Delanoy in center. And Marco Ozuna will be making his way back out on the field here. So again, we ought to be working to get this update on our website, SourisValleySaberDogs.com, which I've been sending all of you for the schedule. I want to thank you for pointing that out there. You can find the new schedule on Facebook or on Instagram or Twitter at SV SaberDogs. It's a new post. This next week, we have North Iowa at Tuesday and on the road back at North Iowa on Wednesday. And we'll have Pierre home on Thursday and Friday. So you catch the Sabre Dogs back here at Corbett Fields on Thursday and Friday nights. We'll be back on the road at the Pierre Trappers Saturday through Monday, the 9th through the 11th. And it should be a 2-day stay in Sioux Falls against the North Iowa Ragin' Roosters Tuesday and Wednesday. So again, here comes Marco Ozuna. Set to pitch for the Sabre Dogs. 9 innings of work. He's got 2 wins and 17 strikeouts in those 9 innings, walking 2 hitters, giving up 4 earned runs for an ERA of 4. Before that, it was a perfect 0. But don't look away now. It's another very talented pitcher we're looking at here. It's going to be Eric Martinez leading off. Thomas Gutierrez going to get an at-bat here. It's pretty funny earlier. Gutierrez on a ground ball that got thrown away. He collides with the first baseman, kind of bounces off him and says, "Look out, the train's coming." That was earlier this year. So another guy that just kind of has fun. But he's been an incredible pitcher. Let's see if his hitting can back it up as well. Because again, Goody, not the biggest guy. I think he only really stands in at 5'9", maybe 165. But if I were to go out there and hit, I don't think I would touch his stuff. That pitch missing low and away. Crowd's getting into it as well. Love to see that. Pretty interactive experience, not just between our team, but also a lot of these families in attendance today. And Ozuna will walk Martinez to first. And now we have Gutierrez up to the plates. It's one thing for a PO to get an at-bat, but let's see if he can hit a guy throwing in the 90s. Ozuna from the stretch. Right down the pipe, called for a strike. Oh, 1 to Goody. Swung on, got a piece of it, but just foul. So Goody can touch it. Let's see if he can straighten her out. Maybe try to buy a base hit off of a very talented right-handed pitcher. Third pitch of the at-bat. And Ty just didn't want to ring him up. No check swing. It's ball 1, 1-2. Ozuna's tuning up the band, and he kicks and fires, and Goody, another foul tip off of Wilmus, and he is just not catching a break back there. First he wore a foul off of Monroe, and that time, just deflection off of a Marco Ozuna fastball. But it looks like a pretty respectable battle here. Goody rocks out there and hands the ball back to Marco. Still 1-2 count here. No pickoff, says Newbert not holding them on at first. And the pitch, swing and a miss. A curveball and a tip of the cap from Goody. Got to see Marco Ozuna firsthand. And now here's a pretty darn good matchup, I'd say, Coach. We got Marco and Hunter Delanoy.
For sure a good matchup.
Yeah. Righty on lefty, one of the best bullpen arms against the best batting average on the Sabre Dogs. See if Delanoy gets a pitch to hit early. Not that time. The check swing. Barrett's got to call one way or another, and I think Wilmus encouraged him to call it a strike, and he did. Ozuna commit to Southeastern. Delanoy, one more year of eligibility left at Wayne State's. Going to be going for his Masters there. And that pitch low and away, ball 1. 1-1 counts, and this actually gives us plenty of, some really good matchups that we've seen so far from a lot of college players, many different levels as well. Ozuna JUCO going NAIA, Delanoy D2. Third pitch, curveball in there, freezes him for a strike. And then on deck we have Ozuna versus Delgado. and a Seth Delgado that has 3 hits on the day. I'd hope we get to see Chris Monroe at the plate as well. Swing and a miss. And there's out number 2. One more out in this friendly inter squad. And another great matchup here. Delgado steps in. Here's Ozuna. The pitch. And low. Ball 1. Unfortunate outing last time for Ozuna. Had a 5-0 lead in the 8th. The Pilots come to life. 5 runs. But Ozuna still picked up the win. Battled back through a gem of a 9th inning after the 8th. As this one's grounded, Tyler Elliott at third, you betcha. And there's a fitting way to end it, a PO with a play at third, 5-3. And there's the final score. Coach, I want to thank you for your comments once again, and hope to see you again very soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Your final score, 4-2, but hold on. I don't know if we're done just yet. Yeah, you're not going to tell Chris Monroe no. Lego will retreat back to the dugout. But there's no defense. There's no defense, but Ozuna's on the rubber. Wilmus puts the mask back on, and Monroe's stepping in. Well, all right, everybody. We have one more at-bat. Power versus power, mano-a-mano. Reed Butts might have a death wish playing third base against Chris Monroe. Here's the first pitch, a check swing. I think Olega, Barlow, and Laura might be the umpires by default, and they're saying it's a strike. Well, all right, Louie's out there now to call it from here. Might be looking at 0-1. Ozuna, fastball, and grounded sharply foul. Now Ozuna's going out of the windup. The pitch. Swung on, missed. And Monroe going to get one more pitch. That first one awarded a ball. And it's 1-2. So we're feeding you extra baseball here. Monroe wanted a piece of Ozuna, and he might be getting the whole thing. The pitch. And low, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 powerful Sabre Dog players to finish up this inner squad. Ozuna gives a nod. The pitch. Swing and a miss. And a good day for Marco Ozuna. And Coach Kieran's going to call the final there. Eddie wanted a piece of Ozuna, but they could hash this out one way or another, but we don't got a coach. That's your final score, 4-2. The baby Blues prevail over the Sunday Reds, 4-2. But once again, want to thank you for tuning in. It was just a friendly inter squad. Sabre Dogs still have a record 29-1, 25 wins in a row, and we hope to see you again very soon. Until the next broadcast, let's go Dogs.